Welcome. Ooh. When the scenic catches me off guard,
Is that looking fighting?
I mean, it looks great.
Wildes was in there earlier today.
I wanted to. I brought the wrong
Walk
short.
the beach.
Yeah, I know, but I need to be in the
Walked
water.
the beach and then did
Showing off
dips.
his gun.
This is us.
Did dips first.
Yes.
And push-ups.
That's exactly
then
right.
walk the beach.
This is First Things First, live from Miami as we count down to the World Cup. There's a special show tonight, 8 o'clock on Fox. We've got 1 year to go. And, of course, for every major event, we like to kick around who has the most to gain in a segment that we call Most to Gain.
Indeed. Great job, as always, Kevin Wildes. For some reason, we decided to always do 8, so we will continue with that. With the 8th most to gain. Out of Norway, Erling Haaland. If you're not an international soccer fan, he's quite simply the best goal scorer alive.
Yeah.
He also kind of looks like the villain in Rocky IV and has
Drago.
the Drago, thank you, Brew. 6'4.5", mountain of a man, great goal scorer. Team probably a little overmatched, but if he can take them on a run, he becomes one of, if not the, face of international soccer. Number 7, out of England, Jude. Oh, there's Haaland. Look at him go with the ponytail. Jude Bellingham. He was third in the Ballon d'Or last year, his best player alive, basically MVP of the whole world in soccer. England has a tortured World Cup history. They won in 66. Then in 90, they're in the semis. They lose on penalties. In 06, they're in the quarters. They lose on penalties. In 2018, they're in the semis. They lose in the 119th minute, basically, to Croatia. If he can allow them to lift the World Cup trophy for the first time in 60 years, he passes Rooney and Kane and Gerrard and Lampard and Beckham in the eyes of modern English soccer. Number 6, what will undoubtedly be a fan favorite, Vinny Jr. He was second in that same Ballon d'Or last year. He's got a mesmerizing style of play that I think Americans will love. And here's the deal for Brazil. From 1950 to 2002, there were 14 World Cups played. Brazil won it 5 times and made the semis 10 times. Since then, in the 5 World Cups, they have only made the semis once, and that resulted in a humiliating home defeat 7-1 to Germany.
That was a rough one.
That was in their home country, and every other year they've been out in the quarters. So it is on him more than anyone to help Brazil get back to what had been their very regular place in at least the Final 4 of the World Cup. Number 5, Mbappe. At this point, not even definitively the best player on France, which is not because he's not amazing, but because of how stacked France is, as Stu was talking about with Dembele and Doué. He had a hat trick in the final last year in a loss. He scored a goal in the final, the World Cup before, I shouldn't say last year, last World Cup. Yep. He already has the record for most goals in a World Cup final. If he could end up leading France to its 2nd World Cup championship of his career, where do you start talking about him in the ranks of the all-time greats? At number 4, Christian Pulisic. Unlike everyone else on this list, it is not about can he lead the United States to a World Cup victory, but can the United States, for the first time since 2002, actually go on a bit of a run? Can they be a real threat once we get to the knockout round? Can he shut up all of the criticism by showing up at the World Cup and being excellent? He's number 4. At number 3, Lionel Messi. He might already be the soccer GOAT. If they win this, he is, even with him just as a bit player, he would be the undisputed contemporary soccer GOAT versus Ronaldo, and probably undisputedly past Pele. He already has, in the last World Cup, he scored 7 goals, had 3 assists, and scored in every single round. Now, Argentina's one of the favorites, even though they're not even certain what, if anything, they're getting from Messi. But as long as he is on the team, he will be the feature story of that team. At number 2, his rival, Cristiano Ronaldo. It's the only thing missing from an otherwise impeccable resume. He's 40-plus years old, but as he showed in the Nations League, still can have moments of brilliance. And then at number 1, the man we just talked about, and by young man, Lamine Yamal. Pele, once upon a time as a teenager, took the world by stage and led his country to a World Cup, the first of many. Yamal absolutely has the talent, and maybe just as importantly, has the squad around him to do it. I think he can become, with Spain going on a big run, the type of international celebrity that we have seen from the best of the best in Messi and Ronaldo in international soccer. I think Yamal has the most to gain.
Yamal's got a ton, obviously. Then you start talking about him as the best in the world, as you said. I would reverse him and Ronaldo, though. I mean, you heard Stu Holden just say, you can't be the GOAT if you haven't won the World Cup. Sure. So I think there's a lot of people that feel that way. So I would put him at number one. But I want to ask you, and maybe this guy's on the most to lose, Mauricio Pochettino.
Pochettino.
Yeah.
So I wanted to have most to gain to be players rather than coaches or countries. But he's certainly, if the U.S. goes on a run, then everything that happened before this is thrown by the wayside.
Yes.
And so there is a level when it comes to the Pochettino criticism that it almost feels meaningless, in that if everything went brilliantly and then the U.S. didn't get out of the group stage, people would be furious with him. And if everything has gone terribly, the 4-game losing streak, and say they get blasted in the Gold Cup, but they perform well in the World Cup, then no one will care. So I agree. He would have been a deserving entrant.
Okay, little sugar, little spice. It's time for the most to lose list.
Indeed, and I hate number 5. I hate to put this country on the list.
Oh, okay.
If you guys remember last year, they were my pick.
Wow.
Not only did I bet Brazil, I booked a trip to Brazil with the mindset being the money I win from betting Brazil is going to pay for my trip to Brazil.
It's dangerous.
Lost the bet, still went on the trip. Listen, Brazil, it's the most beautiful style of soccer there is. But Argentina's been eating your lunch for a while now, and to only make it out of the quarters once in the last 5 World Cups is remarkable, given how they were basically finalist mainstays from 1950 on. They must have a solid showing. At number 4, Messi, Ronaldo fans.
Interesting.
So first of all, they already can't stand each other. They are going to be watching the Argentina and Portugal matches rooting for their guy, and then watching Argentina and Portugal matches rooting against the other guy. And then out of nowhere, it's going to be like LeBron and Jordan fans in 10 years jointly rooting against Wemby. If Yamal comes up and all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, we just were fighting over the GOAT stuff forever, and now someone else is trying to take it from us. It's going to be a stressful World Cup for the fans of those two legends. Number 3. Listen, I can say this because I'm Italian. This is mortifying what's happened in Italy. Italy, they expanded the field. They still might not make it. This is one of the 8 nations that has won the whole damn thing. They didn't make it 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. They didn't make it 8 years ago. They might not make it this year. Yeah, Italy, at this point, just qualifying for the World Cup is, I guess, the bar. I can't believe it has fallen to that bar.
And we're in the finals in the last United States
World Cup and lost in truly historic fashion.
Since then, downhill.
Yeah, really not good since then. At number 2, Michael Jordan.
Okay, we were always waiting.
Okay, so you guys might say, Nick, this is ridiculous. Well, I would ask you
this is ridiculous.
Okay. We saw those 11 American cities that got host sites for the World Cup.
Yes.
What are the 2 biggest American cities that got snubbed? Chicago and Washington, D.C. What do those 2 have in common? What is the story? Right, that is true. What is have you read of the qualifiers that are first-time qualifiers? The biggest shocker to everyone? It is the country of Jordan. So Chicago and D.C. snubbed during the World Cup. When people are Googling Jordan, it's not going to be for this guy. It's going to be for the nation. That's a big loss. And at number 1, Brew, you saw this one coming. Mauricio Pochettino. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm rooting for him. I hope that the U.S. does great and he does great. But he has not built himself a lot of equity with the fans in the lead up to the World Cup. And if they have a bad World Cup performance, then it feels like a $6 million a year dead man walking.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.